So the topic of this video is going to be a little bit more serious than usual because 2025 was a brutal year for animators out there. And if you are working on your showreel every day, if you are applying for a bunch of places, if you are getting out there and looking and talking to people and doing all the right things that I've mentioned here in this channel many times, and yet you're still not finding work out there, you're not really dreaming it is not really an illusion, is the reality of where we are right now as a games industry overall. And I feel like we need to start acknowledging that properly this year in 2026 because we need solutions. We need ways to actually be able to manage the dream of animation with the reality of how things are right now. This video is much more about how you survive mentally, creatively, financially when things get tight and even though you tried everything, nothing is really working, and how I would actually tackle a situation like that if I was in that situation. And I'm going to break it down in a few steps that I hope it helps everybody out there struggling right now. So if this sounds interesting to you, welcome and let's get to it. Okay, so for this first section, we're going to talk about panic. How panic is your default state. And this is very human, and we all go through it. Now, this is going to be two-dimensional a little bit because I'm talking to everybody that hasn't really joined the industry or anybody that has now find themselves without a job. And what happens is that you panic, but a lot of the time it's because of money. Like you have to deal with the reality of life, that slice of life that is being handed to you, that you no longer can pay for things. You have to survive. You have to make things work. And at the same time, you're trying to create something. And I've been in this situation a few times, especially early on in my career, where you are constantly debating in your mind of I want to be an animator, I want to be successful, but at the same time, I don't have enough money for this and the other. Especially when you have a family, it gets really serious when you have a mortgage, things like that. So it's hard to manage both things, which is really complicated to navigate because it's almost, at least for me, if you're anything like me, it's almost like that side of the stress, the financial stress, sucks away all the creativity that you have and you cannot function properly, and it's very hard for you to actually overcome it. The key point here is really that panic and creativity don't really mingle. And try not to look around for people that keep it cool, that maybe you see somebody and you're like, oh man, they have this all together and they got a job straight away after they got laid off. And how do they do it? How do they keep it? All of those things are other people, is not you. Even for myself, that I've been in high pressure environments, if I find myself in this situation, I always panic the most. I have found that stopping the creativity side and dealing with all the financial side first helps me a ton. Now, the solution that you're looking for is to basically solve the panicky part of your brain to then spool up that creativity. Now, in order for you to do this, you need to get a job, and it can be any job, because what you need to do is basically pay the bills, and you might not earn as much, it might not be as prestigious, but as long as it kind of gets you over that hump that at least the bills are getting paid is great. Now, I'm going to explain why any job, as long as it pays the bills, is not a failure in the next section. Now, this part is where a lot of people get stuck because the pride of you being this artist that perhaps has worked in animation, worked in games, maybe at a very high level, or the pride of you being an artist that wants to work in animation or wants to work on this industry, games industry, and you haven't made it and you're not willing to do anything else except for this one thing, that pride is almost setting you back because sometimes you do have to take a few steps back before you can start going forward again. And it really doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're serving tables, if you're working at McDonald's, if you're doing all kinds of jobs, it really doesn't matter because it's not a stain on you. Because what happens at this point and where we are in the industry right now is that nobody can blame you for not getting a job after trying for so long. It used to be that if you don't have a job for 6 months, a year, 2 years, people will actually see it as a blemish in your resume and be like, why are you not working for this long? What's the problem? And you would have to come up with an excuse, or you would have to come up with a real reason that actually justifies this thing. But people still will be like, I'm not too sure about this because they haven't been working for this long. I don't think anybody in the games industry right now would blame you for trying and not getting it, and then finding another job and then working on your reel on the side. This is completely normal, and I think everybody understands that things are tough right now. So getting any job, as long as it pays the bills, is absolutely fine. But just know that as long as you can actually lift that pressure that you have, you are going to be in a better place. And then you can start on the creative path that you were before. Now, this section is about not making it personal, and the reason why is because I can see a lot of people, especially as I speak with more and more candidates, animators, people that are trying to get a job, and I see on LinkedIn so many people actually losing their jobs or moving away from the animation industry, is that they make it personal, as in like, it was because of me that I didn't get a job, or the industry is really, really bad and it's not what it used to be, so, flip a table and then I don't like this anymore and I go over and do something else, and now animation is dead for me forever. I think, to me at least, I think that's a mistake, because it's not really your fault that things are in this way. It's actually a situational thing that has happened over time that it got us to this place. And especially if you got a job before and you worked in the industry before and you had the talent and you shipped a few games, then it's definitely not your fault. And it's genuinely something that has happened because of the times that we live in at the moment. And it might take a little longer for you to go back in the saddle and then continue where you left off. So I do think that you stopping to see the animation industry, your passion for animation, your passion for game dev in the way they used to be, is a little bit distorted, because games are games and animation is animation, and that's not going to change. What is changing is the situation at the moment, where the industry is going through a lot of relentless stuff that makes it really hard for people to actually navigate and get a job. But I don't think he is any blemish on you as a person. Most things that happen in this way are normally temporary, and things come back around. They might look different, but they come back around in some other shape. And those that adapt, those that actually continue persevering and have that flame for the longest and kind of like navigate those bad times, come out the other end normally in a much better shape, much better place, right? And I think this is why you shouldn't really make things personal. It's not really about you, it's about the situation they will live in right now. Now I want to talk about the dream of animation, the dream of game dev, of being like, working in games full-time and all these other things. The two most common things that I've seen people saying is very much that either, the industry is dead and this is personal for this and this reason, or the dream is dead and I no longer believe in this dream and this is horrible. So just personally, I don't think the dream actually dies. I think you shift direction to another area. Sometimes people find areas that are as passionate as they were in game development, but sometimes they actually just basically push it down and then force themselves to like something else. But the thing about it is, with a passion, it's just like when you love somebody, when you like somebody, you can work as hard as possible, but that feeling never really goes away. It just stays there with you, just lingers. I feel like it's a temporary setback that you need to overcome to find that love again, if you feel that way. It's very much something temporary, that because you feel so overwhelmed that you feel like you no longer have the passion for it. And then things come full circle, and now you're trying to practice again, you're trying to revive it again, you're trying to basically be that person that you were before, in the best way possible, because you're in a better place. So what I'm trying to say here is that I think that these two topics that we just covered about being negative or feeling like the dream is actually dead, I think they're temporary, and eventually when things come around, you will be back in the saddle, really excited and looking forward to getting that new job, because now you know that there's opportunities, the industry is back, there's many opportunities out there, and things are better than ever. Now, I'm a believer that bad things come for good reasons. If you're anything like me, what happens is when you take those steps back before you can move forward, you can appreciate at a distance what you had before, especially if you had worked in the industry before. And here I have 2 tips. If you're actually not in the industry and you're trying to get in, then definitely continue pushing, because the industry is not going to disappear. Games have been here since before people were paid, when it was just a passion project, and they're going to be here way after this. Is a need that people have to play games, board games, card games. So games are going to stay here, especially with all this digital know-how. So they are not going to go anywhere. So keep on pushing. So for those that have been in the industry for a while, when you take that step back, when you find that other job that is not related to game dev or animation, I'm pretty sure looking at it from a distance, you're going to look at it, you're going to be like, man, that was incredible. I love my time there. Maybe I shipped a few games and stuff. Because of that distance, it makes you appreciate what you have much more. When you are in the trenches, everything is on fire, everything is horrible. But when you look at it from a distance, all of a sudden it was like the best thing ever. And I think that you should use that fuel, because that fuel will most likely create the best work possible. You can basically go back to creating your best work, but now you have all those years or all that time of experience that you had before that you can now use to then create even better work. So I think this is a good opportunity for anybody out there that finds themselves in this realm of like, I don't know what to do with myself now that I don't have a job, or now that I'm working here or McDonald's serving burgers or whatever. Use your spare time wisely, your weekends, your evenings, and go back to that mode of like creating for yourself because you love it. But you will eventually be hired because you now can showcase to the world how many amazing things you can produce. And that is not something that you can do on the first step that we talked about being pressured and being panicky and then trying to create. That is a recipe to create your worst work because you're doing it under pressure. When you go to an interview, especially as an experienced person, if you tell them, look, I tried for 6 months, I couldn't get anything. I had to work somewhere else. But then I was working on my showreel, I was working on my work to make sure that I could actually continue improving because things move so fast. I mean, I know that I would actually appreciate this, because if you do those things, I genuinely believe that eventually you're going to make it. But you need to have tenacity. Tenacity is something that doesn't get mentioned very much in this industry. And like being tenacious means that you don't give up easy. And no matter how many things they throw at you, life throws at you, you still have your dream. You still have that need, that want, that like, you know, I haven't done everything that I can do. I need to do more than this. So here's me proving it. So things are changing so fast that you yourself need to change the way you think about how to get that opportunity. And if you cannot get it because it's there on LinkedIn and we have a position open, create your own opportunities, like start your own project, work with others. There's a lot of people out there willing to work for free as long as their own. So what if you gather a bunch of people and we are working on this thing together as a unit? That is awesome, right? And you feel the independence, and it might take you into a different way than you expected. You no longer work for a big studio. You no longer work for a big corporation, and that was nice and cushy, but maybe now you have your independence. Maybe now you can do the things that you always wanted to do. But there is value in seeing positive in the negative, and then creating those opportunities for yourself is very empowering. And I wouldn't be here creating these videos for you on YouTube if I hadn't gone through similar situations in the past to the point where I thought I just need to create something of my own, and now I'm here. So I'm not just saying it, I've been living through it, and I've been doing this independent thing for about 6 years now, and I'm loving it. And it just takes you to places that you haven't expected. And I hope more of you out there can do the same. So that's all I had for you guys. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe if you took something from the video. Also comment down below and let me know if you want to share your experience, how you actually going through it, and also how you pivoted into certain other areas if you needed to. And if this video helped in any ways, also comment down below. And I'll see you guys in next week. And until then, stay well, stay safe. Peace. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, go ahead and hit the like button. If you super enjoyed it, leave a super thanks. It's like leaving a little tip, and it directly supports the channel. If you haven't already, subscribe and turn on post notifications so you can continue to see my videos and get your weekly dose of better.